What's up everyone? In this video we have some pretty important things to talk about, and today's video will be special because we're going to cover multiple million-dollar trades in very interesting moves and stocks you will want to watch going forward. This is actually pretty interesting. You don't want to miss these. But we're also going to talk about some solid stocks to watch for tomorrow. So definitely stick with us. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, a lot of stocks are actually blasting up in a huge way today, and we're actually seeing the market go on a huge uptrend and a very big turnaround here. You can see Apple was actually down this morning, but then they ended up flying all the way back up to 150 intraday. You can see Microsoft right now running up to around 245 here at close, which is right around that big resistance this week. So it's a crazy day, Mike. SPY's almost back up to 400, which is a huge level as well. If we end up flying above that today and maybe retesting the high of earlier in the week around like 403.50 or something, that would be awesome. But I know that the SPY has been stuck in this range, so we might see a little bit of a bounce back down. But this is really good news to see the market moving up like this heading into tomorrow. And we're going to still have a very big event coming up tomorrow, guys. So I know that it's a shortened week. We are going to actually have a holiday on Thursday, so the market will be closed. And then there will be a half day on Friday where the market will close at 1 p.m. on Friday. So keep that in mind. But I still think the SPY could have a pretty big move, Mike, because we have the FOMC minutes tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I think we might see a little bit of volatility heading into close. And yeah, depending on how that goes, Mike, imagine this. The market's closed on Thursday. It might not be good if, maybe the market has a big pullback or something like that heading into the holiday. That would kind of put a sour taste in people's mouths.
True that. So I do agree with you in the sense that even though it's a short week, I do think we can have a big move tomorrow, and there are a couple reasons for that. Just like you said, we have the FOMC minutes event. For those of you who don't know, basically tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to get a recap, like an in-depth recap of what the Federal Reserve was discussing in the previous meeting when they increased interest rates. This is important because it tells us what like the top dogs of the Federal Reserve are actually seeing and thinking when it comes to the economy. So obviously that's very important, but at the same time, Tom, we have the market that's just been in such a choppy state for the past week and a half, and just like you said, we're finally starting to see stocks move in a way where there's actually some momentum, which has been very rare over the past week and a half. So that's a great thing to see.
Yeah, it really is. And look at this chart of TLT. We're actually still seeing TLT fly up as some of these yields start to consolidate and fall back down a little bit. So that's great to see. I know that we had this crazy play with TLT going on where someone had a call debit spread for January 20th of 2023 where they put $3.96 million into this play. And like we said, Mike, the minimum level they have to get to hit profitability is 103, and they're almost there. I know a couple weeks ago we thought it might take a while, but who would have known it would have only taken about 5 to 10 trading days. So it's crazy to see TLT popping up like this, and that is really good for the stock market. I'm glad to see SPY finally recovering up as well, and I feel like SPY might start to go back up and maybe get maybe up to like 405 or maybe even 410 over the next couple weeks if we continue on this nice uptrend. There is a huge upper trend line here that I'm kind of watching for us to touch, maybe around like 405, but even if we have a nice 5-point pop from 400 to 405, that would make for a great end of the week.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see that. While we're talking about market volatility overall, earnings tends to play a big role into that. Do we have any major earnings tomorrow?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. We do have John Deere reporting, ticker DE for anybody interested in that. I will say, Mike, John Deere has had quite the move the past couple of years. COVID really helped them out. They did have a bit of a pullback this year, but now they're already almost back up to highs. So watch for John Deere with earnings. I feel like this one could go either way. They're so high right now. The earnings might have to be pretty exponential for them to do well, but you never know. Like John Deere, Caterpillar, and stocks like that have been really taking the market by storm lately.
And another thing too is if we go back to that earnings calendar, Tom, like we've talked about over the past couple weeks, is like you don't necessarily have to play the stock before they report earnings. Sometimes you can look at stocks that reported a day or two ago and just ride the momentum of those ones. So if we look at Zoom or Best Buy or anything like that, you can save yourself the crazy IV crush and just ride the momentum. Right now, Zoom came up a little bit today after initially falling in pre-market. So there's not a ton of momentum with this one specifically, but if we look at like Best Buy, which is BBY, that one had a decent day and you can definitely ride the momentum of this one.
Yeah, definitely. And I know BBY has been one of my favorite stocks the past couple weeks. And I know that we've even seen some bigger moves out of some of these retailers like Home Depot. This one finally continued up and had a big breakout post earnings. So yeah, some of these stocks can end up doing very, very well. So watch for John Deere. They could maybe have a big move. And I know today, earlier today, this morning, Mike, we saw Dollar Tree report. They ended up falling down. I know DKS and Baidu also reported. DKS is another retailer that went up. So maybe keep DKS on the radar too for the next couple of days. It looks like they're actually nearing a pretty big resistance. And who knows, with this earnings push up, they might end up getting a nice breakout into the holiday here.
There we go. All right, Tom. So one stock that I'm really watching that I have to talk about is WBD. WBD is a stock we talked quite a bit about around 2 weeks ago when there was just a gigantic trade to the upside with this one, and I'm still bullish on this. Basically, the stock had an amazing run up about a week and a half ago, and it's been pulling back a little bit like many stocks have been, but I just want to let everyone know that, it's still bouncing off that $10 support. There's the smart money is still in it in a bullish way. So WBD is still a pretty good setup that I'm watching to the upside. Of course, do your own research, but it's a pretty good setup, and I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah, and looking at this on a daily chart, it would be pretty tough for me to say that I would see WBD falling under like $9.50 over the next couple weeks. I am definitely going to be watching it for a nice support bounce and a potential move back up. I know that this has been one that we have talked about quite a bit, but they deserve the news, Mike. I know that we always look at their fundamentals and stuff, and I know that they're even doing some stuff regarding like Discovery Plus and kind of integrating their stuff a little bit better here in the future as well. So maybe that will help them even more. But I know a big one today, Mike, was Oxy, and a lot of these oil plays / commodities did very, very well today. So Oxy is one of my favorite stocks today. They ended up really flying up. Like I said, pretty much all oil stocks were up across the board, whether you look at Oxy, ZOM, even like MPC, which is Marathon Petroleum. They were up like 5% as well. Even X, which we talked about yesterday, US Steel, had a very respectable move. So I'm keeping my eyes on these commodity plays. Oxy is one that I feel like could do very, very well. I know that Warren Buffett and a lot of big investors are still in this one. So I will be watching it for a potential retest of these highs, maybe around 75 or so.
Good stuff. Alrighty. Another one I'm watching is GDX. This is basically an ETF of a bunch of different gold mining companies. So when it comes to investing in like precious metals and gold, there's a lot of ways you can do that. Of course, you can go with like physical gold, you can go with ETFs, you can go with individual companies. GDX basically, like I said, just is a bunch of different gold mining companies all under one ticker symbol. When it comes to trading gold, though, like in the stock market, there are two main ways to do it, at least in the stock market. That's if you ignore like futures and that stuff. So you have GDX and then you have GLD. GLD follows actual gold prices. GDX follows the miners, like I said. Generally, they move together pretty well, but right now we're seeing GDX perform a lot better than GLD. So gold mining stocks have been uptrending and holding up a lot better than just gold itself. So I do think GDX can definitely move up more going in the future. And I'm actually pretty excited about this one. So GDX is definitely going to be on my watch list to the upside over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, me too, Mike. I mean, I'm really glad you said this one. I'm going to throw this one on my radar too. This looks very, very bullish here on this daily chart. I love the way it's moving to the upside. And, we did have a recent little dip down, but, I know that stocks, whenever we go on uptrends, we tend to have nice little like stair step patterns to the upside. And I feel like that GDX is starting to get that type of move going on here. So I will be watching it, especially if it can break like 28.50 up there which seems to be like a decent resistance it hit over the past couple weeks. But what a great play. This one also kind of follows those commodities. And like we said, they have been pretty hot here over the past week or so. But, we talked a lot about commodities, Mike, and a lot about regular stocks in the market. I'm actually going to be talking a little bit more about Coinbase today. They're up 5.3%. And I will say Bitcoin is starting to look pretty brutal this year. Today, it actually looks decent, but you can see how we actually made a new low of the year yesterday, hitting like right around $15,600. So it's a crazy market with Bitcoin. I know it's extremely volatile, and I'm not going to lie, it kind of looks like on the chart, Mike, like we might actually get like another like leg to the downside or something like that. But with that being said, I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I feel like there will be a decent opportunity on Coinbase or maybe some of these platforms that deal with crypto a little bit. Now, I know FTX is throwing a wrench into things, but like they always say, buy at peak fear. But what I will say, Mike, is as far as like a longer term investment on this, I don't like it. I really like it for a support play here around $40. If it starts to fall below that on Coinbase, I would just cut it instantly, because with all this FTX catastrophe and stuff like that going on, you never know how this crypto market might go.
We shall see. All right, Tom. Well, it is time for the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have MSFT to the upside.
Yeah, amazing recovery today. If they could actually break out above 20 or 245, I will look for it for some nice calls.
All righty. With the next one, we have INTC also to the upside.
Intel, yeah, they need to recover up, Mike. It's been a while here. Actually, if they could break out above 2980, I'll look for a nice push up.
With the last one, we have AMZN, but we need both ways for this one.
Yeah, Amazon was pretty flat today. If they start falling down below $92, look for a push to the downside. But if you see an intraday pop up above 93.50, then I think you could go ahead and play some calls there.
All right, so we're watching AMZN, INTC, and MSFT for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow. For potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. And with Amazon, we also do have that downside level as well. So make sure to keep that in mind. But it is now time for the multi-million-dollar trades to watch going forward. Today's special because we actually have two different stocks and we have three different trades. With the first stock, we will be looking at WPM, all right? WPM. Basically today, someone put $620,000 into the 40 strike call options for January 19th of 2024. And then they also put $359,000 into the 38 strike call options for January 19th of 2024. Basically, this is a precious metal company. They have a lot to do with gold as well, just like we were talking about just a couple minutes ago. This setup is pretty dang tempting. If you're not someone who's familiar with options, the main thing you need to know is we have some hedge fund or whale or insider putting a lot of money betting that this stock will rise to the upside. They do have some time with it, but either way, I do not think this setup looks bad at all. And I'm actually very excited to see how this setup progresses.
Yeah, me too. This looks just like that GDX setup. I really like these plays on commodities right now, and I feel like this is a pretty good play to the upside, Mike. It's looking very bullish. Like I said with GDX, I love that stair step type of move to the upside. And I really feel like that a lot of these commodities are starting to finally point back up, because I know commodities were doing great at the beginning of this year, but they really fell off in a big way and became very overextended to the downside. So I'm really glad to finally see a push, and I definitely think we can see a big move up. So it's good to see the smart money getting in this too. That even gives me more confidence now.
You know it. And then we got another one too, Tom. So let's check out MP. All right, so MP. Basically, someone put $2.93 million into the MP 35 strike call options for March 17th of 2023. This is obviously a bigger trade than the previous one, but honestly, like the setup is still pretty similar. Another precious metal company. A lot of times, like when you have like gold or silver rising, you also see other precious metals rise with them. Not always, of course, but it's just usual. But either way, the setups are very similar, and I feel very similar about this setup as I do with GDX and with WPM.
Yeah, me too. And I really like some of these supports down here, like right on 2750. We've seen a ton of bounces off of that with MP and even down there around like 26 even. So good thing to see this one finally moving up. I know that these metals are getting hot, and I think that MP will end up being pretty good too. Like you said, this one kind of deals more with precious metals, Mike, more like I actually saw some stuff on their website. They deal with like Predator missiles and guidance systems for bombs and stuff, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, like the metals they mine have a lot of different applications. It's pretty cool, and that's what's another pretty cool aspect with precious metals. A lot of times they do whatever they want relative to the overall market. A lot of things that are made, especially nowadays with technology, utilize precious metals in a bunch of different ways. So it's kind of good to have exposure to precious metals in one way or another. It doesn't have to be with these stocks, but just generally speaking, precious metals it's good to have at least a little bit of exposure to them. So good stuff there. But while we're on the topic of unusual options activity, if you guys want to get access to these same smart money hedge fund trades that we talk about, check out the first link in the description and the comments down below. You can get access to the exact trades we talk about before we post the videos, and basically you have the opportunity to get in these trades on the same day we talk about them. You'll also get access to a ton more features with swing trades, day trades, private access to Tom and me. It's an awesome community. Definitely check it out. You can cancel at any time, and we have a coupon for the first month. Definitely check it out. It's going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. But Tom, do you have any favorite not any favorite setups, but like any top things you want to go over before we close out of today's video?
Yeah, this is insane. SPY is hitting 400 here right at the end of the day. The market will be closed in about 7 minutes. So I'm very curious to see how the SPY is going to hold up on Wednesday and obviously on Friday. So be ready tomorrow. We still have the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys might have forgot about that, but don't forget that we'll end up bringing some volatility in tomorrow a little bit. So hopefully that can push us up above 400. If this ends up holding up as a big resistance, Mike, I will be a little bit let down here heading into Black Friday. But be safe out there, guys. If you guys don't see us tomorrow, have a great holiday weekend. And overall, I'm really glad to see the stock market up, Mike. It's been a long time since we've seen a nice recovery, and it's good to see Apple up, especially after that brutal morning it had.
True that. Before we close out, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, which is Jason K. You're very new to the chat, but thank you so much for being a great member and helping out other people in the community. Huge shout out to Jason K. Thanks so much for being a great member of the chat. I'm just as excited as you are, Tom. It's awesome to finally see some solid movement to the upside, especially. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below to get access to some pretty awesome trades. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.